welcome to the Knoxville Vinyl Comic Hall. We got Las Cruces 1971's already in the house, and Chris Barrett. He's wanting to know any REO Speedwagon pickups yet. I guess you'll just have to watch to find out. But the spoiler is no. Las Cruces, you got any requests? Anything you're hoping I brought home today? Anyway, we'll get right into it. I don't want to be on here too long. That's 2 and 2. But I picked up just a few vinyl records while I was on vacation in Knoxville and or Knoxville area. Actually, we stayed outside of Knoxville, about an hour away. So we did a day trip into Knoxville one day, and I was with the intention of picking up some good stuff. Sorry if my audio is not the best it should be. Last couple of videos as well, my mic has crapped out on me. So it has an internal failure of some sort. So we'll be getting rid of it and maybe even having a new microphone tomorrow for the No Faces Comic Chat. We will see. We've got Mastodon. What's going on, Donnie? Good to have you. More Pink Floyd love, Cruz says that. So we'll have to see. What? REO Speedwagon has some of the most bitchin' love songs ever. Now that I can't deny. So let's get right into it. First, let's take a look at an album that I already showed off in my comic haul because it was I bought it at a comic shop. So, and it is original radio broadcast Golden Age number 5009 Superman chapters 1 through 4. So this is the radio broadcast from 1938. Shortly after Superman appeared and made his first appearance in Action Comics, they started to put it out in a radio program. So the same year, 1938. So of course this record is not from 1938, but it is a radio broadcast. So I have to say that the audio quality, it's a little rough. Like you can tell that the high ends when they were recorded and put it out there were just really high. You know, it just got up there. It wasn't exactly what you would want, and there's a lot of breakup in it. Now, the actual record itself is quiet. It's a very clean copy of the record. There's no problems as far as that goes. However, the transfer from the radio recording to the vinyl record is just not as clean. Like I could see that if someone took the time and maybe maybe in some other format later on, this is from 1977. So the transfer is, so maybe at some point later on or more recently, I mean to say, there was a transfer that was cleaner or sound engineered, that probably would be better because this one's a little bit rough. I still recorded chapter 1 already. And here is the side 1. And you see the label is very plain. Nothing special about that, but I just wanted to show it off. So Golden Age 5009 is the record number on that. And it gives you the first 4 chapters. The reason why I had to take it out is because it's the only way to know what's on it, because the back just tells you a little bit about Superman, has like a Superman blurb, but it doesn't actually say what chapters are here. It just says the first 4 chapters are presented here. So here you have chapter number 1. You have Krypton is Doomed, right? Which was the first program aired, and it's all just the destruction of Krypton, which is pretty cool. Hey, Martine, how you doing, brother? And then number 2 on track 2, and there's just 2 per, pretty long, about 12 minutes each. On track 2 is One Hot Day in Indiana, and I haven't listened to it yet, but my guess is that would be when Superman lands on Earth, because he is just a baby in episode 1. And then on side 2, it says Clark Kent meets the Wolf. So that may be the first time that we get some actual Superman action. We'll see. And then on the second track of side 2, you have Unknown Forces. And those are from 1940. And the other one, they're all technically from 1940, although that's what it says, even though the broadcast said that they started playing in 1938. So make up your mind, people. All right. So there you go. Up, and away with the Adventures of Superman. 4 exciting chapters of the historic radio program. So good stuff. Good. Glad you're doing well. All right. Moving on already to number 2. And that this looks thick. That's what they all say. Actually, it's actually fairly thick. I don't think it's 180 grams, but it's not a thin disc. It's actually pretty thick. So I don't know if you meant that seriously, but I think you're right. All right, next we have. Hey, it is what it is. You guys say what you want, but I was getting in. They had some Christmas albums on sale, and this one. So the other one I got at the comic shop at Nirvana Comics in Knoxville. This one, there was a shop called McKay's. I think it was called McKay's Books and More or something like that. But McKay's, and if you just say McKay's in Knoxville, people seem to know what you're talking about. And it was like an all media store. So it had movies, books, records, comic books as well. And just kind of everything in between and a couple of some toys, video games, and some equipment too. Their prices were astronomical. Like, I don't know who's running the price scheme over at McKay's, but they're drinking too much. Basically, this like they looked at something like I can only imagine that whoever the pricer is over there, that his job is basically to look at something and then check and see how much the highest requested price is on eBay. Like, that's all I can assume because their prices were way out there. Hey, what's going on, Captain Comas? Good to have you. It was a great stream he had the other day recapping some of his fun at the rally. So thank you. I'm glad your camp went well and it was fun to see you. And of course, the misses as well. So not first off, we had the Superman there, and now we've got Andy Williams' Christmas album. I'm a cheeseball when it comes to my Christmas music. This was only 89 cents. So even though I said their prices were crazy, you can tell by the condition as well that it's a little bit rough. It's got a few scratches here and there, but it's Christmas, so who cares? White Christmas, the holiday season, which is one of his more famous songs. The Christmas song, it's the most wonderful time of the year, a song and a Christmas tree. That's the 12 days of Christmas. Kay Thompson's Jingle Bells, The First Noel, Oh Holy Night, Away in a Manger, Sweet Little Jesus Boy, The Little Drummer Boy, and Silent Night, Holy Night. So this should Moon River. That's about right. Hey, Aggressive Little Reaction, good to have you. And Chris Barrett saying Moon River. So that's about right. So there you go. Andy Williams, Christmas. And it has these funny labels. It says scratched on it. So when you pull it out, it just means that there is any kind of scratch, like even a small scratch, then they mark it there. Even just a slight, even not anything that would make it skip or anything, just any kind of scratch. If it's not a perfect disc, they mark it as scratch. And then if it's worse than that, they'll put here very scratched, like the whole thing will just say very scratched if they think it's very scratched. But they don't actually play any of the records, so there's no way to know while you're there, and there's no way to play it there. But they do have a refund or return policy if it becomes unplayable or you're not satisfied. I think they take it back within like 15 or 20 days. Might have been 30. I don't know. But since I don't live over there, I was going to be stuck with whatever I had, and I didn't bring – don't play too early or kill tons of elves. I might do that. So they don't have they might have a return policy, but since I don't live there and I didn't bring a record player with me, then I just have to deal with it. So we'll see how it goes. Next, we have Frank Sinatra, Have Yourself a Merry Christmas. Look at that. That's looking good. And this one, I left some of the price tags and stuff on so you can see it. It also says scratch, but again, this was only $1.95, and it's got some great songs on it. Let's see if we can get it's got White Christmas, Jingle Bells, O Little Town of Bethlehem, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Christmas Dreaming, in the early years, yeah. Silent Night, Holy Night, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, Adest Fidelis, Oh Come All Ye Faithful. That's that one. And Santa Claus is Coming to Town. So that should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to listening to that. And I didn't go ahead and listen to them because I thought I'll save the excitement. I'll pick up a bunch of Christmas albums between now and Christmas. And now's a good time to pick them up because once Halloween is over, most of the radio stations stuff already start with Christmas crap. So, and a lot of the places that you'll go, like department stores and malls and stuff. They'll already be rolling Christmas music. That'll get people in the mind, and if they're gonna sneak up in the record store and buy a bunch of Christmas albums, that would be the time. So you want to, if you're looking to steal them, you're looking to get them out there and get some better selection at lower prices. Would be now before the end of October 31st. So you got a couple months, but that's what I would do. All right. So next we have back to some rock and roll, or I guess you could call it that. We got Huey Lewis in the News, one of my favorite albums, sports. And I remember when I was younger, I used to tell me, it was a time in my life, it was a very short period of time, where if you had asked me who my favorite musician was, it was Huey Lewis. And I remember telling my dad and telling him, he's like, who's your favorite right now? I was like, Huey Lewis. He said, he doesn't write songs. I was like, what do you mean? He's got all kinds of songs. He said, no, it's he writes ditties. And I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess he does write ditties, and I guess I like ditties. So that's how it works. That's ditties with a D. All right, thanks for everybody. Halloween is never over, says Captain Comics. Well, to each their own. I know we enjoy seeing you dressed up in your famed coconuts. Huey Lewis in the News, and I kept the price tags on this one too, although I am going to put all these in Mylars and stuff soon enough. So this one that was not marked as scratched, and it has an old, has a hype sticker on it still, so I'm going to try and save that. And it has the old Walmart price tag that says $7.56. Isn't that funny? The 56 cents, like you almost never see that anymore, but it had to be in a very specific percentage that they reduced this by. That was the original price, but now on sale for $6.96. Whoa! Not even 50-cent difference. So, oh well. And then, so anyway, great album here. Here's the front, and here's the back. Absolutely fantastic. Love this album. Side one, The Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul, Bad is Bad, and I Want a New Drug. And on side two, Walking on a Thin Line, Finally Found a Home, If This Is It, You Crack Me Up, and Honky Tonk Blues. So nothing but good music on this one. One bad thing about this album is that it's bowed in a funny way. This one also had a decorated inner sleeve. So let's take a look at that, showing them playing in some gymnasiums. And it has the lyrics, which we always appreciate. And it has a bow to it. And this is like a bowl bow, so it's hard to see it. It's on side two. So it's like that. So you can't really see it too well, but if you can see, it's kind of warped a little bit. And so what that means is that on side one, it plays fine because the bow is down, but it has a bowl bow. So when you go like this, then it has a big hump in it. And what happens is that when you're playing the first track of side two, which is Walking on a Thin Line, it catches the bottom of my tone arm and lifts it up before it gets to the needle and kind of makes it do an endless loop. So now I happen to know that my current record player, which I'm very happy with, has a bit of an issue with this because the tone arm and the needle, or the tone arm and the stylus cartridge, okay, are almost even with each other. And the only thing dips down from that is the stylus. So what happens is that if you have any kind of record with a bow, it's going to push it. So that's what happens. Whereas if you have a different type of record player or a different type of tone arm, a lot of them have the cartridge very far below the tone arm. And so the tone arm is raised up in some way. And so you wouldn't have that same problem, but you would still hear the warp. So, I'm not about to replace my record player. This is the only track and the only bowed record that I have at this point. So I may go ahead and get a penny or two. Yeah. And I'll see what happens. Maybe I'm thinking about pressing it, trying to press it and trying to press that bow out, but we'll see. But I definitely want a perfect copy of this album because, like I said, it was always one of my favorites. So let's see. Donnie says, I had always hoped to find some stuff in Huey's band Clover from the 70s. I didn't know about that band, but I'm not sure if any exists. We'll have to check that out. We'll be hunting that down. Luckily, in October, we are on the edge of the village, so we don't get the beggars at Halloween. That's right. Martin's over in a farm. They make clones. They make sheep clones on the Millions information booth, or M3 Lions. I never know which one it is. Harry's Lotto says side 2 got Bo Diddley medley. See, because of the bow. See what he did there? Yep. Happy Sunday, says Joey Baz. Good to have you. And he says, get a penny or two, put them on the stylus. That's not going to work in this case because it's pushing the tone arm up. So if it was just a matter of the needle jumping, then that would be one thing. But in this case, that's the issue. Is there a way to fix the warp? Yeah. Supposedly you can put them between 2 sheets of glass and stick them in the oven at 138 degrees. I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just spend another $15 and buy it somewhere else. So Martin is a clone himself. Maybe he killed the original and he's the clone. So we don't know. All right. Last and definitely not least is the last one for the haul. So it's going to be a quick one today. You look at rigor mortis sets in. I did look it up. I don't remember what I found about it, but I did look it up. Yeah, so I will check on that. Good stuff. But I remember looking that up. That was like 2 weeks ago. All right. So he's at the farm. He's not at the farm. So, best album I've picked up in a while. And that's saying a lot considering some of the great music I've picked up. I just got to show it. NXS Kick. I mean, so this album is balls to the walls perfect. Every single track on here is fire. It's just so good. I'm so happy with it. Paid $15 for it. It says scratched, but there was a mix-up or something, and somehow the better disc ended up in the better jacket. I don't know what happened exactly, but this label had this was the better jacket, and they had 2 copies, and the other copy had a real bent-up jacket, but it had a better disc, and then this one had a perfect jacket, but a scratch disc. And it was $5 cheaper, but that doesn't really matter. I don't know. There was some mix up, and somehow while I was looking through them, the better disc ended up in the better jacket for the lower price. I don't know how these things happen. Sometimes I just get lucky. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. It's a great Halloween album. Okay, good deal. So there you go. One thing we love on BUB'S vinyl hauls is the awesome music and the great covers. One thing we don't like is the unnecessary fold-out cover. There's just no reason for that. There's no other disc here. It's just vanity. That's pure vanity right there. So it just takes up double the space in your record collection for the same amount of music. So, what? No, we're not saying that at all. We don't know what's going on. Just things happen for me. Yeah, that's what Martin says. Things just happen. All right. So on this one, this is to me the epitome of a perfect album. Guns in the Sky, New Sensation, Devil Inside, Need You Tonight, Mediate, and The Loved One. And on side 2, Wildlife, Never Tear Us Apart, Mystify, Kick, Calling All Nations, and Tiny Daggers. So yeah, that's what it was. An instant mix up. Thank you, Las Crisas. Fold. I will. What? Well, if you don't have the fold, how will I roll my lefties? That's about right. Popular album in Australia. I bet it was. So of course, this is the guy that put autoerotic asphyxiation on the map and taught that term to a great many people who maybe met their demise the same way later. So very, very short career for these guys. And then they had like a reality show where they looked for the next lead singer of NXS. And the guy that won, I don't remember exactly how it went. I remember watching the show, and the guy that won was just not a good fit. Like, it was a terrible way to pick a new leader of a band. And the guy that won, everybody was like, oh, he's amazing, but not for singing this. And he didn't match with the band. I don't even think they toured. Like, I don't think he got added to the band in any way, except that he won the show, and then he went back to his old band because he didn't get along with these guys. So, and I think they were family. Like, there's maybe a couple of brothers in the mix of this guy, including the guy that died. So, so there you go. There's some of it there. Fun stuff. Looks like a Reptar in the corner there, doesn't it? And then, thankfully, they give you the lyrics as well. So great stuff. Super good. And this album, like, my wife had heard of INXS, and she knew some of their songs. Probably couldn't have told you too many of them by name, but she knew them when she heard them. And she was like, I had no idea that one album had so many hit songs on it. I was like, this thing was it's just a perfect album. There's not a bad song on it. It blends well, and it just sounds fantastic. So let's see. I work with a guy who knew a guy who died. I work with a guy who knew a guy who died from autoerotic asphyxiation. We appreciate the correct spelling on that, as well as we know autoerotic can be tough to spell. All right, so that's good stuff. So hate to hear that, but yeah, it happens, I suppose. You need to send you some hardcore for your decks. Yeah, I may need it. I didn't care for the guy who they picked to replace Hutchinson. Yeah, I thought he was okay on his own. It's just a bad mix. Just a bad mix. You know, what are you gonna do? Now I'm curious. Chris Barrett. Yeah, how close a friend was he? Father's business partner. Wow. Crazy stuff. But yeah, I mean, I tend to say, you can say that was something before. I'm not saying that it wasn't a kink that people had before. What I'm saying is that I can't remember another celebrity that died of it before this guy. You know, I can't think of another person that was like, because I remember the news reports having to explain what it was to people. Like, all right, so this is going to get weird. Here's what he died of. Let's explain it to you. And then they started with the warnings. Please, no one try this at home. Look, yeah, no, don't try it. Yeah, I mean, they show them all, you know, around here playing. It's good stuff. And, you know, you have this, which is just ridiculous, just pure vanity, but it is a great album, so we'll let them have it. So that's my haul, everybody. We'll go in reverse. We got INXS Kick, one of the best albums in my collection. I have to fight the urge to play it over and over again every day. That's how you know the album's good, because as soon as I flip side B and it runs through, I want to flip it back to side A again. I can't help myself. And often I just go ahead and do it, or I'll play portions of it before I go to work. And then when I come back, I play some more. It's just so good. Huey Lewis in the news with the unfortunate bow, but it only affects one song. So we're still going to hold on to it until we upgrade that copy, but it's on the list to be upgraded for sure. And then we've got some Frank Sinatra, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Good to have old Frankie in the collection anytime we can get it. David Carradine, did he die of it as well? I didn't know that. Was much later though. Yeah, I still think it was still think he was one of the first. Simple music, but original. Yes, it was very simple, and but it's so enjoyable. I just had to go. Look, we're gonna put the disclaimer out on this channel. Yeah, more people know David Carradine. I would agree with that. I'm putting the disclaimer out. Don't do it. Don't try it, and don't blame me if you die from it. There you go. Andy Williams Christmas album. Happy holidays, says Andy Williams. So good to have that. And then, of course, this was a lot of fun. And I actually did already record chapter 1. So here's Superman, original radio broadcast. Recorded chapter 1. We'll see how it turns out. The audio is pretty rough on this. So after YouTube compresses it and does all its routine, I don't know how good it's going to be. We're going to put it out there anyway. It's going to get blocked by a bunch of countries, but you should still be able to listen to it, at least in America and in Canada. So, Martin, you might be out of luck, but there might be a couple of countries where it's not available because people do weird copyright stuff across the world just to screw YouTubers pretty much. Only 2 famous people killed themselves. Yeah, I think. There you go. Don't touchy. All right. You guys are having way too much fun. You guys can continue these comments in the comments below. Is there anything I'm missing? in my collection. I know that I don't think so. It could be. It could be. Maybe he did. Oh man, that's great. Harry, hey, yay, good job, buddy. All right. Well, we're gonna keep this short. That's what we've got so far. I don't know how many more albums I'll pick up this next week because I got an anniversary coming up in a week or so. In a couple weeks, I got to make sure I'm properly prepared for that. We got Labor Day coming up. We had all kinds of good stuff. We got some conventions coming up, so we'll see. We'll see how we do going forward with the pickups. And but this will probably be the last vinyl haul for probably maybe 2 weeks because I'm going to pull back a little on vinyl. Yeah, more REO Speedwagon, or at least the first. Oh, I forgot to mention. I'll just talk about this for the last 3 minutes or so. We went to see 38 Special last night in Corbin, Kentucky. And it's a little arena. It's about an hour and a half from my house, but only about an hour away or so from where I work. So it wasn't too bad. It was a fairly new arena. It was opened up in 2009. So everything's nice and clean. And it doesn't look like they tried to go real high tech with this thing. So it should last for a while. It's just basically a cinder block coliseum. It's very small and very intimate. So anybody who doesn't mind only playing to 2,000 to 4,000 fans ought to love it. And 38 Special did a great job, put out a fantastic performance, and it was just fantastic. It was so good. They're just great. And I brought my wife and my son, and we had a big time listening to music and dancing and singing and the whole routine. Just absolutely put on a fantastic show. So you guys are terrible. I'm not putting up any more comments. All right, that one got through. I'm not putting up any more comments, you guys being terrible in the chat. You guys check it out next time. So anyway, 38 Special, fantastic concert. Had a great time. The beers were only $6 a piece, but at least there were pints. So that was all good. And the popcorn tastes good. It was just a good old fashioned show. So Corbin Arena, it's my second time being there. I saw Flo Rida, the rap, hip hop, crunch artist. I don't know what you want to call him. I saw him there a couple of years back, and then I kind of forgot the arena was there. So after COVID went through and nobody played and all the dates got postponed. So this was like one of the COVID dates and got postponed. So, or put forward. But if you say that too many times, YouTube will put a little warning on your video. So silly. All right. So that's it. Yes, that's right. Glad they're still doing stuff. Yeah, it was really good too. And I still got, my thing on those is the original singers. Like you can change the lead guitarist even because if you have a world-class lead guitarist in the history of the band, you can get another world-class lead guitarist. I mean, they will come and they'll play it just as well. You won't be able to tell the difference for most of them. And you can say, "Oh, this one was amazing." Well, this one will be almost amazing, and you probably won't know the difference. So, but they got to have the lead singer still. And if the lead singer is not around, then I'm less inclined to pay top dollar. I'll still pay like state fair prices, but that's about it. Yeah. Let's see what's shaking, folks. Hey, Patrick Wall. Hey, Patrick Wall. I owe you a little bit of money, just a little bit. We had 3 people enter my contest a little while back, and Patrick Wall did not get all of the ones correct, but he did enter. And since I only had 3 people entering, we had 1 person get them all right, and 2 people get almost all of them right. So, and Patrick was one of those. So I owe you like something. I'll get that to you soon. You're used to how those things go. So all right. Oh goodness. Let's not do that. All right. So Journey ain't Journey no more. Exactly. Stuff like that. Like I know a lot of people listen to Leonard Skinner when they changed lead singers too. I mean, there's some bands you can't kind of help it, but others. I got to see. Well, the drummer, he didn't die, but he had a health condition for Rolling Stones. He's like backed away from some shows. I don't think he didn't die, but he's backed away from some shows. I'm glad I got to see the Rolling Stones while they were still a complete group, but I would still see them again on tour missing the drummer. Like that's not going to be a big deal to me. So, all right, guys, later. Later, Donnie. All right, we'll catch y'all next time on BUB'S Comments. Remember to listen to a record and don't apologize for the hiss. Psst. Later.